Hi, everyone, and welcome to Gratitude Hour. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Ashley Wilson. I am a 23-year-old college student living with cystic fibrosis, and I am so excited for tonight. Everyone has been working so hard, and you guys are going to hear some incredible stories tonight. I'm so excited for this virtual event during National Volunteer Week with all of you. While we all volunteer in different ways, from advocating, researching, connecting, fundraising, and so much more, we are united by one mission: to make CF stand for Cure Found. I'm grateful for everyone who's here, and I hope you kick back, relax, and take some much needed time for yourselves tonight. You deserve it. Um, Gratitude Hour is all about coming together as a community to reignite our purpose, find motivation, and feel empowered to take time for ourselves while expressing gratitude along the way. To kick off tonight, we wanted to get a sense of how you show yourself gratitude. You should be seeing that poll question on your screen now. So, how do you guys make time for yourselves? Getting outside or exercising, reading a book, watching your favorite movie or TV show, playing video games, cooking your favorite meal. I would have to say, out of all of these options, it's a tough call, but I'm probably going to have to go with watching a favorite TV or movie because I love having a good TV show or movie to watch at the end of the day, or even reading a book. I love reading books. And I see that we're getting some great results, which is exciting. Okay, lots of questions. That's exciting. And it looks like the winner is getting outside and exercising. A lot of you guys like to get out and exercise. That's so good. Okay. All right, so we have 59% of you guys who did. That's so cool. So our first speaker is Travis Flores, and he's going to kick off the night, and followed by CF community members, Brenda J, Kyle Cole, and myself. We will be sharing our own personal stories of reigniting our purpose, finding motivation, and expressing gratitude. And as a fun way to end the night, we will have live gratitude pop-ups where you can volunteer to join us on screen to share what or who you are grateful for in the CF community. Now, before we get started, there were a few logistical items. First, let's give a shout out to our chat moderator, Eileen McCarville, for helping us keep that chat going tonight. So thank you so much, Eileen. And a note for the chat, you want to change the drop-down menu so that your messages go to all panelists and attendees. That way everyone can see your comments. If you're finding the chat a little bit distracting, you can close it by clicking on the chat icon at the bottom of the screen. Closed captioning is available and should be showing automatically at the bottom of your screen. You can hide these subtitles or adjust the view on the or adjust the view by by clicking the CC icon at the bottom of your screen. Lastly, please be aware that tonight's full event will be recorded so we can share the recording with those who weren't able to make it tonight. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our first solo speaker tonight, and that is Travis Flores.
Hi, everyone. My name is Travis Flores, as she just mentioned. I am 30 years old. I have cystic fibrosis, and I am a recipient of a third double lung transplant almost a year ago. A lot of times when I give speeches for organizations, I tend to be very on track with something and have a goal for the entire speech. But for this particular speech, I wanted to be a lot deeper. I didn't want to be surface level because this is my community. This is representative of gratitude and purpose, and those are all things that mean a lot to me. Living with cystic fibrosis is a very challenging life. However, I do think that We all live with challenges every single day. And right now in this pandemic, I feel as though our community of cystic fibrosis is very much in line with a lot of people who have dealt with COVID in the pandemic this last year. Um, Finding purpose isn't always easy. We have to find purpose in the smallest things sometimes, waking up in the morning, not wanting to go to work, not wanting to do the chores of the day, not wanting to go to school, but you find something toward the end of the day to keep your attention on so that you know that at the end of this long, hard day that you really didn't want to partake in, you have a nice steak dinner or you have a movie to watch with a loved one. Um, but there's also moments in life, and a lot of people have been facing this, like I said, the last year, where purpose has been bigger decisions. Purpose has been life changing decisions. You have to change your entire way of thinking and find the purpose in things that you never thought you'd have to. Um, my entire life, there's been a question that's been asked me, and that's how do you do it? How do you go through what you go through and continue to go through it? And for the longest time, I said, I just do it. Um, but the truth is, it's not that simple. I don't just do it. I don't have to do it. And it's not that I don't have a choice. I do have a choice. Again, we all have a choice to live every single day and what we do at that time every single day. Um, and it's not always easy. So, yes, I make those decisions like everybody else to get up and to participate in things throughout the day. But I also make decisions regarding um, 2 to 3 weeks of IV therapy. Okay, this is really going to suck. But at the end of that 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to feel a lot better. And maybe I won't have to come back for a while. And maybe if I do that every single time I need to do it, I'll live to see my 30th birthday. And on April 7th this year, I turned 30. Despite being told that, I wouldn't live to be 5, I turned 30. And that was because I found purpose. I found purpose every single day for the small things, and I found purpose every single day in the larger things of my life. The thing about purpose, though, is that there are certain things that we all experience. We are all born and we all die. What we do in between is up to us. And in between life and death is time. So those three things, life, death, and time, often dictates our purpose. What if I don't have enough time to get through what I need to get through today? Then you feel like your purpose is changing. What if I don't have the ability to fight through what I need to fight through? Then your purpose is changing because your time is changing. But the beautiful thing about all of these elements of purpose is that oftentimes we find detours, and detours can be the most unexpected, beautiful things about life. I discovered personally that um, my biggest detour in life was to accept myself fully and to come out. And because I did that, I found the love of my life. And I never would have expected that had I not taken that detour in my life and done what I needed to do to be more of myself. And purpose often goes hand in hand with that as well. We can't find our true purpose if we aren't true to ourselves first. How on earth can we find purpose in life when it's not really us finding it? It's a version of ourselves to appease everyone else. Discovering purpose is such an important aspect of life because when you find your purpose, when you're able to identify what makes you get through the day and what makes you go through everyday challenges so that you have a happy and fulfilling life, makes every hardship you've ever been through worth it. because purpose starts to reveal itself the more you start to search for it. Cystic fibrosis has informed my way of being and how I see the world. I often say that I'm unfortunately fortunate to have been born with CF because I have a perspective on life that many people my age don't have. But that perspective on life has really helped me find my purpose very early on in life. I remember doing speeches just like this when I was 10 years old for the Battle Against Cystic Fibrosis, or BACF games, back in the Mid-Ohio Valley. And I did that for many years and raised a lot of money for charity. And I discovered that one of my purposes in life was going to be to use my voice to help other people. And it wasn't going to be just for my community of cystic fibrosis individuals. I wanted to do that on a very large scale for many other people. And discovering that purpose allowed me to find organizations that I identified with and ultimately be more and more and more true to who I wanted to be as an adult. But what happens in life when you feel like you don't have purpose? What happens when you don't feel strong enough to get through the mundane things every single day? I've been there many times, and it's not easy. And I want to share something with you that I've learned to do that I used to think sounded crazy because it just seems strange. But I started talking about it with a few people in my life recently, and they've encouraged me to share this with you today. In moments when I didn't feel strong enough and I felt like I was going to die, after the second transplant was rejecting and the third transplant was a very far stretch to achieve, not just because hospitals don't typically do them, but the body has to get through it too. Even if they say, yes, you have to go under that surgery. And what I've done to help myself get through those moments, and it works for the smallest things in life to the very, very challenging things. And I want you all to try it right now. I know I can't see you, but I want you to try it. Close your eyes. Okay. Now give yourself a hug. And I know some of you might be laughing right now because it sounds strange, but give yourself a hug and don't do it like, oh, okay, there you go, there's a hug. No, 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 no. Close your eyes and really embrace yourself and hold on to yourself, because this is the thing. The mind and the body are separate. When you realize that your mind is different than your body, and your body's so powerful that it's able to send a signal to the brain, and your brain can infiltrate your thoughts and then tell your thoughts, hey, this is what's going on. You need to do this because our body needs this. You start to realize that your mind and your body are both powerful. And when you give yourself that hug and you think of how grateful you are, despite maybe feeling awful about yourself sometimes, and you think about how grateful you are for your body, and you remind your body, hey, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here to fight. Stay with me. You can fight through this too. I'm here. I'm mentally prepared to do this. You need to be physically prepared to do this. Whether it's getting up in the morning and getting through that hard day or facing something much more difficult, do that and really mean it from your deepest part of your soul. Mean that to your body, and your body will hear you. Your body will respond, and you'll find that you are able to get through a challenge that you never thought possible. You'll be able to find the purpose that you didn't think you had. So I want you to try that next time you're facing something really challenging. Allow your mind to feel separate from your body and then communicate back and forth. And you'll find that you can get through it. You can get through anything. You'll find purpose, and you'll be able to tell your mind and your body both that you can accomplish the hardship of the day, the hardship of the week, the hardship of the month, and the hardship of your life, whatever that may be. And it'll change. And that will change your purpose sometimes. But if you do that and you mean it, it will be hard to find again. I want to close this by just saying that your purpose can determine the direction of your life. And again, being true to yourself and making time for yourself to evaluate that will help you get through it. And if you think of your life as a river, and there's a beginning, and the life and the river headed toward the ocean, the end where we all come together. The direction of the river is the purpose. So you just got to find what direction you want to go in, and always be grateful for it. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much, Travis. Next, let's welcome Brenda J to share her story as a mother, excuse me, as a mother of an adult with CF, finding motivation with herself, and hear what she is most grateful for in the CF community.
Thank you, Ashley. And thank you, Travis. That was an amazing story. And it will probably help me get through my little talk this evening. My name is Brenda J. I'm from the Indiana chapter. And I'm going to share with you our family's CF journey. The Jaywalkers, as we're known, have been involved with the CF Foundation for over 30 years. And at one time, I served on the CF staff, our local chapter. I'm currently chairing our Indiana Grandparents program. We have a great group of grandparents who are learning a lot and enjoy being with others that are going through the same thing, virtually, of course. And maybe you have someone in your family who would like to be a Grampian. Give that some thought. And I've got my Grampian plug here. I appreciate the opportunity to share tonight because this has been, it's a great experience to reflect on how far we've come and to remember those who helped us along our way. I hesitate kind of to use the word miracle because it's such a bold word, but that's how we see our story. Our youngest daughter, Laura, was diagnosed with CF in 1987 at the age of 2.5. And like many of you, we had no idea what CF was. And when we were confronted with the life expectancy of mid-teens and with nothing on the horizon as far as treatments, we were, of course, but in 1989, not only was the CF gene identified, but in the coupon section of the Sunday paper, Boomer Esiason, who's the CF dad, and Procter & Gamble announced the Great Strides Walk for Cystic Fibrosis. And there was going to be a walk near us. I still wasn't ready, but my sister-in-law insisted. It was just the two of us. And it was a small gathering. The walk wasn't, there weren't a lot of people, but we could feel the energy and the commitment. And it's so empowering to be around others with the same purpose. And that was the spark I needed. However, I've never been comfortable sharing things about myself or my family. And asking for help doesn't come naturally to me. I couldn't imagine sharing that our daughter had a life-threatening disease. Never did I dream I could stand up in front of a large group of people and tell our story, or that I could walk into a business and convince them that their money would be well spent with the CF Foundation. But I did those things, usually with really sweaty palms, but I did them. I vividly remember Laura's dance class and sitting with the other moms in the waiting room, holding my CF Great Strides brochure and trying to gather the nerve to ask them for a donation. It meant I'd have to tell them that Laura had CF. I did it. And they were so kind and of course donated. And actually one of those families is still with us today. I learned not only are people willing, but they want to help. The Jaywalkers grew to the point that we started our own walk in our hometown, I think in 1996 maybe. And we had other new CF families that joined us from our area. And over our 30 years, we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for our cause, and we're not done. More recently, we've become involved with other CF events, meeting new people and learning new ways to fundraise. 2 years ago, before pandemic, we had 4 different passion fundraisers, fundraising events. And it's a totally different approach to fundraising. It's more work, I think, but it's so much fun and rewarding for us and our supporters. And by the way, not all of those were successful, but fundraising is hard and it doesn't come naturally to most of us. We all know there are hurdles. Maintaining momentum, highs and lows, or just plain burnout. We all have that experience at some point, but we have our chapter teams to help us. They want you to succeed more than you do, actually. So they're a great resource. So here's some of the things I'm grateful for. None of us would be here without those who came before us. And I think of the families who started the CF Foundation in the mid-1950s and what it must have been for them. All their hard work and the precious time they spent, and they still lost their children. But they paved the way for us. And that's something we can all be very thankful for. One of the things I think that kept us going was knowing that the money that we were working so hard to raise was being used wisely. Most of you know the CF Foundation story, and it's an amazing one. And that the foundation is generally considered the world's leading mission-driven organization. So thankful and proud to be associated with these really smart, caring, driven people. People like Dr. Bell, who led the foundation team for 21 years, and he had the vision and determination to make all of this happen. And he's my hero. As parents, yeah, that diagnosis turned our worlds upside down. But we have the world's leading mission-driven organization working for us. They have our back, and they're going to save our kids. Let's all be grateful for that. I want to give you a quick update on Laura. She's 36 years old. She has a master's in psychology She's married to the best guy around, and they have Ruby. Their daughter is 8 years old. After Laura gave birth, she had a significant health decline. And it was a very scary, scary time. But Trikafta to the rescue, and it's changed her life. Her functions are up 18%. She's opening her own psychotherapy practice in August, and she plans to work full-time. That's our miracle. I want to thank you all for being here, and thank you for what you're doing to make a difference. And now I'd like to welcome Kyle Cole. He'll share how he finds positivity and motivation to show up for himself every day.
Thank you, Brenda, and thank you, Travis, for sharing your stories. I know that fell on ears that were needed to hear such things. So I want to share my story. My name is Kyle Cole. I am 32. I have cystic fibrosis. I was diagnosed at 3 months old in 1989. And I actually had a double lung transplant 8 years ago. My first one, so Travis has me beat by 2. A way to go, Travis. So I know what that's like going through a transplant. It's definitely a tough gig. I want to share a little bit about, growing up and where I am now. So growing up was, as a kid, I played sports, I played baseball, I was always outdoors. So I was always trying to stay healthy, and I really didn't have too many hospitalizations. Maybe once a year, I had to spend time in the hospital, those exacerbations that we've all really experienced. And then growing up, like I said, I was always outside, so I was pretty healthy, fairly healthy. And things started to get a little rough for me, like most of you guys out there, when you transition from high school to college. That transition, when you turn 18 years old, everything is on your shoulders. You no longer have to rely on your parents to call in your medications. You no longer rely on them to take you to the doctor. You have to schedule those appointments yourself. So everything, the weight of the world feels like it's dumped on your shoulders. And, the clinics try to give you, their best help to get you transitioned into an adult clinic, but it's tough, as we all know. But thankfully, through that time, through college, it was tough, like I said, but I had a great support system growing up. I've got a very large family. But my closest friend and mentor growing up was my sister. She really instilled in me a lot of core values that, I still cherish this day. She still says I'm the most positive person she's ever met and most enthusiastic person. But you sort of fall, in that category when you're told at a very young age you're not going to live a long time. You sort of have to look at life, optimistically and see the glass half full. Because if you do not, you're going to fall into that category where you're not as healthy. You don't keep up with your treatments as like you should. So as long as you have that gratitude and as long as you're enthusiastic, you can keep up with your breathing treatments, do your treatments on time, and keep yourself healthy. And that's sort of the mentality that you have to get through something like this and being born into something like this. And then years later, I was fortunate enough to have a double lung transplant, which gave me a fresh breath at life and a new second chance at life. As Travis knows, it's one of those things that it's very scary when you're going through it, when they tell you, this is the last straw. It's a double lung transplant, or you're not going to be here much longer. So having the opportunity to go through that was a blessing in itself. And I'm so grateful for my donor for giving me this opportunity. Because shortly after that, after some stays in the hospital and having my transplant and recovering, graduated college finally. I started a brand new job right after college. I got married. And then I was fortunate enough to have our first baby boy. He is 5 months old. And I know if there's some males with CF on this chat and on this meeting here, you know that males are pretty much born infertile. And so from the time I was a kid, my number one goal was to have a child of my own. And I've lived out that purpose. 5 months ago was the greatest day of my life. And all my dreams finally came true with him being born. Me and my wife had to undergo IVF, in vitro fertilization. She's a saint for jumping into this head first and knowing what she's getting into. And having said that, she's my rock. She's who I fall back to. She encourages me every day. She keeps me up. And just God bless her for going through this with me. So like I said, he is 5 months old, and I'm just over the moon to have a son, to call my own. It has been an absolute blessing to have him in my life. And like I said, with saying that, having a support system that surrounds you and can pull you back up out of the depths when you're depressed or down or whatever you may be feeling, the support system is the number one thing to have. It surrounds you when you have cystic fibrosis. My sister at the time got me kind of through those days, and then now my wife is, like I said, my rock. It keeps me pushing and keeps me going every day. And he keeps me on my toes and absolutely no sleep. So it's hard to manage and difficult, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And actually, I have a picture I wanted to share with you guys. Just this right here. I don't know if you can see that. That was my New Lungs for Kyle shirt that I kept when I was going through my transplant, because I knew one day that he'd be wearing it. And just the other day, we got to take this picture, and it's one of those, moments. So just want to share that with you. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys being here with us. And I'm going to turn it over back to Ashley Wilson. She is going to share what purpose and gratitude mean to her. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, Kyle. So as I told you guys earlier, my name is Ashley Wilson. I am a 23-year-old college student living with cystic fibrosis, and I'm currently studying film to work in the entertainment business. Some of you might recognize me from some of my social media platforms where I share my journey of living with cystic fibrosis. And most people who see me on those platforms, they see me as a very positive person and appear to be an open book about cystic fibrosis. And that is mostly true. But it has taken me some time to get to that point. I wasn't always very open about sharing my story with cystic fibrosis. I was raised to have a positive perspective, and I was raised to be open, but I chose not to share my story with others until I was older. It all changed right around when I was 9, when I had moved from Colorado to California. I met my first friend who then became my mentor, and she had cystic fibrosis. And I didn't have social media at the time, and she was someone who I met in person. In fact, she lived 15 minutes away from me, so I did get to see her, but we would follow CF protocols, 6 feet apart, masks, and everything like that. But she would take me under her wings and show me the healthcare system of California, which is very different from Colorado. And she showed me how to be an advocate for not only myself, but for others, and taught me the importance of spreading awareness of cystic fibrosis. At that time in my life, I didn't think it was important for people to hear my story. I was just someone who was just living my life. I actually did not want to know other people with cystic fibrosis because I thought I was fine on my own, which is not the case. But all of that changed when a few life-changing moments occurred. And that was in 2015, I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis liver disease. And this came on fast, it came out of nowhere, and it flipped everything upside down. This was the summer before my senior year of high school, and I was in the hospital pretty much all summer. And I was immediately put on the liver transplant list and had to learn and adjust to this new lifestyle. And I was struggling during that time, mentally and physically. But then my perspective changed when I realized that there were other CFers on my floor who were having bigger problems per se than I was. And it really made me shift my perspective. And I began thinking of how I could be an encouragement to them. So during a time when I could have been very depressed and sad, instead I was changing my thinking and my lifestyle of thinking of how can I help others? How can I help them? And putting their needs before my own. And that's when I began starting to share my story with everyone. And but then after that, in 2019, so that by that time I'd definitely grown more confidently in sharing my story with others and continuing to learn more from my mentor. In 2019 was actually when my mentor had passed away. And it was very, very life shattering. And I did struggle. And it took me about a year for me to fully come back to talk about CF and everything like that. I didn't talk about CF or anything like that on social media for a while because I didn't know what to say. I didn't have anything positive to say, and I didn't want to sound negative all of the time. So I took a break, and when I did come back, I got back to work because one thing that my mentor taught me was not to feel sorry for herself, feel sorry for her or feel sorry for me. And, there's a time and a place, but then after that, you have to continue on. My mentor was the type who would show tough love to me at times, which was good because I'm that type of a person. But she always taught me to do what you can in the moment and make the most of it. And since that time, I've worked really hard to honor her legacy with everything I do. And that includes sharing my story on social media, but also being a mentor to others. At the time of first starting of sharing my story on social media, I didn't think I would become a mentor to others. I thought I would just be sharing and that's it. But then it started to become full circle where everything that I have learned from my mentor, I've been able to pass it on to others. And it's been really special to have that moment, have the opportunity to speak with so many people from all over. And, whether that's just talking about favorite fandoms or movies or what's happening in my life, I know that it's honoring my mentor and it inspires others to live fully and inspires others who, if they have CF, great. If they don't have CF, great. For me, my mission at the end of the day is just to encourage others to continue to just live fullest and take on every opportunity that they can. So with all of that said, that's it for my story. It is now time for gratitude pop-ups. So you have heard from our speakers tonight about who and what they're grateful for. And now we want to hear from you. So let's hear from everyone online tonight on what or who you're grateful for in the CF community. You can drop a comment in the chat, or even better, click the hand raise feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen to volunteer so we can see and hear you. To raise your hand and volunteer, simply click on the icon labeled participants at the bottom of your computer or phone screen. And then at the bottom of the window, click the button labeled Raise a Hand to share. So we'll then promote you to be a panelist, and you'll have the option to unmute yourself and turn on your webcam. If you don't want to turn on your video, don't worry. Just hearing your voice is enough. And a reminder that your moment of gratitude will be a part of tonight's recorded event. Let's see. Pull up the chat. And it looks like we're going to be starting off with Anthony. I don't think I have a last name. There we go.
Yeah, I'm Anthony. I'm grateful for the University of Washington. They helped me also get on Trikafta and helped me get on different vitamins and get my blood work up to date with my liver and CF related people. I don't have a ton. I kind of stopped going to doctors for a bit because, like you said, I felt like I was better on my own. I can take care of myself. I didn't want to learn too much because it scared me. But my girlfriend helps a lot. I live with my grandpa. He's helped me quite a bit. It's been rough, but I'm 34 now, and my lungs are finally clear. As of right at the start of COVID, I was put on it, which was really ironic. But I felt like I was going downhill. I was coughing a lot more, congested, and trying to cope and stress. And I'm doing a lot better now. So that's my story.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Anthony. Is there anyone else who would like to share their story? Oh, it looks like next will be let me try to say this. Natasha, Nateasa. Sorry, I'm bad at names. Natasha. I could keep going on of different pronunciations. Nateasa. If not, we can then go on to Paulette. Oh wait, no, I hear. How do you say your name?
Nateasa.
Nateasa. Oh, I was way off.
That's okay. I get called Natasha every day, so I understand.
Would you like to share your story?
I can quickly because my daughter just okay. So we fostered our daughter for about 2.5 years. We adopted her last year. We had no idea that she has cystic fibrosis. The agency never informed us of anything. They just gave her to us and they were like, here you go, she's healthy. We ended up being in the hospital for about 2 months at a time. It was a long struggle. We decided that the hospital that we were at just wasn't giving enough help for her. So we decided to get transferred to a different hospital. And they ended up helping us a lot more. She ended up having hydrocephalus, which is fluid on her brain. She had emergency surgery. She ended up coding 3 times. They brought her back, started having seizures. Everything happened. It was like the worst possible thing ever. We stayed in there for a little over a month and a half, and she is doing fantastic now. With the doctor's help in the CF clinic in Peoria, Illinois, we would not be as far as we are today. She's doing fantastic. She hasn't even had a cold since she's been in the hospital and had surgery 2 years ago. She's doing so awesome. And she is a little fighter to be 3 years old. She is just a little fighter.
That is incredible. Oh my word. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
So beautiful. Next. Okay, and it looks like next would be Paulette.
Hi, I'm Paulette. I'm in the Philadelphia area CF Foundation. I'm 59, CF. I was diagnosed when I was 11. I was a therapist in hospital, Philadelphia for 16 years. I got into that field because of CF. I had to eventually leave it because of CF, because the patient is the CF community, and I was taking care of CF patients. I have 2 grown children. They both graduate this year. Very grateful for TRICAFTA because I was really on the verge of going down the lung transplant route. So many prayers to everybody that's had to go through that. You know, TRICAFTA has definitely changed my life. I just came from clinic today. My numbers are holding steady. They're up about 25% on my FEV1. And I'm grateful for my husband, who is my support and sidekick. And it was really a nice meeting tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paulette.
Wait, let me say hello. I can start my video. Hi. I'm Paulette.
Hi. Hi, Paulette. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. It looks like Cheryl Kushner is next. I think that's how you say Kushner.
So, sorry, I had just gotten booted out. Anyway, what am I thankful? First of all, I'm thankful for all the work of the CF Foundation because they, I work actually at a CF center. I'm not a parent. I'm not a patient with CF. I definitely come from a different perspective. I've done it now for 21 years, but I'm really thankful for December 2019 and January and February to see the patients in the clinic after starting their TRICAFTA and crying the happy tears and getting the phone calls about pregnant parent, moms that are having their dreams filled that have become pregnant, or FEV1s that are climbing. And then for as much as I'm so happy for them, now there's that push that I want that happiness for everybody, because everybody deserves that chance. So it just makes me want to do more. But in the year of the craze of the pandemic, like those first couple months, they're irreplaceable for me because the happy tears in the clinic and whatever. So no, I'm thankful for my CF community.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Cheryl. Next, we have Ayla Ingram. Is that how you say it? Ayla Ingram? Yes, no, maybe? I really got to work on saying names right. Let's see. Oh, I just saw her. Hi. Oh, it looks like you're on mute. Okay. She said she would be right back. And so while we wait for Ayla, we will go on to Marianne. I think that's how you say. I'm just going to be saying this after every single person's name. We can go on to Marianne as we wait for Ayla.
There you go.
Oh, there you are. Hi.
I'm trying to turn my camera on.
There we go. Nope.
Oh, there we go.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Marion.
This is Jace. This is our little CF warrior. He's 6 years old, and this is why we fight. But Jace is part of the last 10%, and I think our gratitude is that this fight continues even after TRICAFTA came out and did so much for so many. Our hearts were soaring with joy for everybody that TRICAFTA helped, and they were breaking because it didn't help our grandson. And this little guy right here. And we're in the fight till the end. And we're so grateful that this community is in the fight to the end with us until CF stands for Cure Found. We have a fantastic foundation out here. We love working with them. And Grampians rock. I just got to say that. So all those grandparents out there and those granduncles and aunts and grand relatives, hey, we got a platform for you to advocate and be a part of us. So come on and join us. But thank you all for all you do.
Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, until it's done, until we have something for everyone. Yes. All right, let's see. All right, so we can try Ayla again. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, my settings were wrong on my phone. My name is Isla. I actually didn't think I was going to get called on. Originally, I was going to say that I'm grateful for like Kaleido and Vertex, but come to think of it, this meeting could not have come at a better time in my life. I was diagnosed with CF when I was 5. I was misdiagnosed until then. I'm 25 now, almost 26 next month, which means, my health insurance changes and all of that. And this, I've been extremely down the past few days regarding that because I don't know what I'm going to do. But this could not have come at a better time in my life. And I think every last one of you who are here and sharing and participating, it has made my day.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Isla. There we go. Got it. Thank you so much for sharing, Isla. And thank you so much for being here tonight. And I think that is a perfect place to end the pop-ups for tonight. I want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. It has been just such a wonderful night of hearing from our amazing speakers, but also hearing from you guys and just hearing what you all are all thankful for. And you guys all continue to inspire each other and you guys inspire me. And I'm so thankful for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us at Gratitude Hour. We hope that we leave you with a renewed sense of purpose and motivation and are inspired to continue taking time for yourself and finding gratitude in every day. And have a great rest of your night and a wonderful National Volunteer Week.